Oh, there it is. Sorry. You decided to go for the Hartford Whalers shirt tonight. I like it.
Oh, I did. I didn't even notice.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Two Rotarians podcast, episode 4.
A New Hope.
A New Hope. Yes, we will come up with a catchy title for every single episode that we do. When we get to episode 20, we might be struggling, but we'll do it. So welcome. I am David Cobb.
I'm Ken Cooley.
That guy. We are members of the St. Clair County Sunset Rotary Club, and we are in District 6510, and we do this podcast for Rotary, for non-Rotary people, for this guy, for that guy.
No, it's not for me.
No, it's the purpose of this is to just have discussions between Ken and I. And again, we've mentioned this before. Hopefully we're going to get some guests in here. We have done a few talks, which I'd like to kind of talk about. The last time you might have seen us, we were at the membership and foundation seminar for the district.
Yes, sir.
And they let us talk for 20 minutes, which probably was a mistake. But we had a good time. And hopefully the people that were there in attendance, and that if you've watched it on YouTube, that you had a good time and got something out of our talk. And hopefully we conveyed the message of not only why we do the podcast, but when it comes to membership, how social media and doing things like a podcast, updating your Facebook page regularly, doing live videos during your meetings, live videos during your fundraisers, during your events, can help you target members before you ever meet them. And that's kind of the point that I brought up there, was asking the audience, when does new member orientation start? And it's like, I mean, it starts before you ever meet somebody these days, because of the power of social media and the power of digital format media that is out on the web that anybody can see, and that gives you a face before you ever meet the face that might join your club.
Yeah, I see where you're going here. It's absolutely, we kind of talked about having updated Facebook pages, updated websites. The biggest, I went through all of the websites in the district and tried to find, figured out what clubs were easy to find, what clubs were hard. And I'll be honest with you, if I was a person who was looking to get into a volunteer organization and I saw a website that hadn't really had any activity since 2014, and the pictures were kind of blasé and, all that stuff, I wouldn't join that club.
Right.
So that's my gripe when I look at websites, and even like not necessarily groups. If I'm trying to buy a product and the product looks a little shady online, I don't go and buy that product. So I think of us as a product.
Right.
Us, a Rotary, our group, and just we're trying to get more customers involved in our product. So trying to update websites, and it's amazing how many people don't use their social media.
Yeah, I agree. And we kind of went through this process of, we're all friends with a couple people on Facebook that, exactly what they're doing every minute of the day, because they check in at breakfast, they check in at their job, they check in at lunch, they check in at, and it's like, they're getting their hair done. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're shopping. Oh, they're eating here, and you're like, good gosh, but if you don't have that mentality with somebody in your club that's posting your events, it's, how are you getting out there?
Yeah.
And are people really seeing all the good that you're doing and the places that you're at? And I mean, even tagging some of the people that you're doing projects with who might not even be members of your club, just so that their friends can see it.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, this person was involved in that. I didn't even know they did that. That's great.
Yeah. I always say, find your social butterfly in your group. And that's the person, like you said, who's on Facebook posting 20 different things, and put them in charge of your Facebook and your PR for your club. And I guarantee you people will be asking her about, hey, what's this Rotary business?
Right.
Or him. I should say
him.
her.
Yes.
Although I'm thinking Holly right off the bat.
Oh, boy.
She should be the PR person for the Muscuda Club.
Yeah, not to name drop anymore.
No. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. I mean, I love talking in front of people, obviously. I've done it all my life, ever since first grade.
See, and I haven't. It's kind of a new thing for me. But
you love it.
But it is what it is. Yeah, it gets a little addicting, you know, and you like to do that. The only thing I didn't like is one time at one of our meetings, we played this podcast, an episode of this podcast, and I'm sitting there while the entire club is watching the podcast, and I'm watching myself and watching how they're reacting to certain things. And I'm like, oh gosh, this is weird. Yeah. I don't know if I can handle this right now.
But the cool thing about that was everybody was attentive and everybody was really enjoying the show.
Yeah, it's amazing that when you start talking about stories, and again, you know, the reason why we're doing this is to kind of, you know, bring up some things that we see and all that, and hopefully that a story might stick with you, or you might take it to somebody else and share it, or you just share the video, and that they get something out of it. And it's kind of cool that I think each time it's so weird, because now I pay attention to it and I see what's going on. And it seems like every time we do this podcast, I have a new kind of story. And it's funny that right after the membership and foundation thing, a couple weeks back, a couple weeks after that, so kind of right in the middle since the last time we did something, is I went to a St. Louis Cardinals baseball game, and I went with a bunch of friends. And it was, you know, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but we were sitting in a box behind home plate. And that's not the reason why I'm telling you this. But he had a bunch of tickets that he got. And so he called a bunch of friends and we all went. And a friend of ours that was going to sit in the box already had tickets to the game. But he was like, yeah, I'll come sit with you guys. And his tickets were like just down from where the box was in behind home plate, kind of off behind like the green seats. So probably we're talking maybe 12 to 15 rows back, you know, on the third base side. And he had these tickets and he's walking around before the game and he's just like, hey, you guys going to the game tonight? Oh yeah, we got tickets. Oh yeah. And then ends up seeing this dad and his daughter walking around, and they're like, hey, do you have tickets? And they're like, oh no, you know, we come down here and we try to get in, but sometimes it's too expensive because it was a Friday night game. Ticket prices are a little higher. And he's like, yeah, we can't really afford it, but sometimes we'll see if scalpers have tickets once the game started, or we try to find a way in once the game started. And our buddy's just like, here, take these, you know. And the guy was like shocked. Yeah. And the little girl, who's maybe, I don't know, 10 to, you know, 11 years old, is like so happy that you could see the smile on her face. And so we get into the game and we're all kind of just sitting there and we're talking and we're having fun. And then a couple of my buddies, they disappear. And I'm like, oh, okay, everybody went somewhere. Who knows? Well, they come back. And this is, to me, what the kicker of the story is not only did this guy just find some random people and made their day by giving them some tickets to the ball game, is they went and found a representative from the Cardinals and they said, hey, these seats in this row, in this section, we want you to take 2 pretzels, 2 sodas, you know, some cotton candy, you know, an ice cream or whatever. You know, they ordered a bunch of food for these 2 people and sent it down to them in the seats. And it was so funny because these people had no idea where we were. And we're sitting behind there and you just watch the usher lady, you know, walking down, and she's got all this bag of goodies, you know, and she walks down there and just taps him on the shoulder and is like, hey, and you can see him talking back and forth, and the guy's kind of like shaking his head, probably saying, I didn't order any of this, you know, I'm not paying for that. And the lady's kind of like, oh no, it's okay, you know, like they sent this down, you know, and you could kind of see that going on. And then people around him were kind of like turning around because like, what's the conversation going on? And then you could just see this little girl's like, oh yes. And she starts doing this. And the guy's like, okay, and drink the soda and take a bite of the you know. So it was good because, I mean, the guy who gave him the seats could have gone down there himself and just said, oh, hey, I want to make your day. But it was like, let's just do it where they don't know what's going on. We'll send it down there. They're not asking for any sort of, you know, recognition for doing this. And it was just, and then they came back, and when they told everybody that, and once we watched them deliver the food, I'm just sitting back and I'm like,
Heck
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like you get it. Like you're somebody who gets it. You are doing most things that Rotarians, service above self. You're putting somebody else in front of you. You made their night. You didn't have to do anything like that, but you took time to go ahead and do that. And then you took, some of your money to go ahead and just make their night a little bit better.
Well, I always do when anybody tries, every time I try to do something like that, and anybody tries to give me money or anything, I always say, pay it forward.
Right.
5 years from now, you might have some cash and some extra tickets. Go find somebody and give them those tickets. That's the big payday for me, is just to see somebody smile and be happy.
Oh yeah.
So that's a great story.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's awesome. And then it's, the big thing that's just happened in our area, in case you guys have been living under a rock, is we had this thing called a solar eclipse. And
I did not know.
Really? Shocking. Yeah, people freaked out. And the one thing that I kept hearing, and of course, these days, and how people feel about news outlets and things like that, you never know what's going on. But the one thing that you kept hearing repeated was, oh, for a day and for 5 minutes in your area or an hour, everybody kind of stopped, and it didn't matter if you had this belief or that belief, and everybody was kind of outside sharing glasses and, oh, look at that. And, oh, here's this. And this is what I know about the eclipse. And this is what you know about the eclipse. And the whole world seemed to stop and talk about the eclipse.
Yeah.
And there was nothing else going on. And it, and they tried to spin it into this, oh, it just brought all these people together and all this and that and that. And I wanted to be like, look, do you know that on smaller scales all around the country that this goes on all the time?
Yeah.
That at least for us, on Thursday nights at 6:10 at the KC Hall, the Knights of Columbus Hall in O'Fallon, Illinois, there's a group of us that get together, and we don't care about, hey, what do you feel about this or how do you feel about that? We come together and we say, this is what we want to do and what we want to accomplish for somebody else. And we're coming together to benefit other people.
That is a totally shameless plug. That was awesome.
No, it's, I'm not trying to plug Rotary.
I think he's plugging Rotary.
See, but I'm not trying to make it so Rotary focused, because there are other groups that do this too. And I'm just saying, for us, that happens all the time. And it seems like on such a large scale in the world and all this, and it's like, oh, the solar eclipse and everything stopped. And I don't think that most people realize that, hey, you can do this all the time. There's so many outlets out there, and not just Rotary, for you to get involved in something and really make a difference.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I think that, especially for our group, I just try to make it fun. Who wants to go to a meeting every week and be bored and crabby? And, my biggest thing is trying to have fun.
I agree.
But yeah, that's, I'm thinking about, just that amazing story with the St. Louis Cardinals and the guy having tickets. And are you trying to tell me that the St. Louis Cardinals, it's hard to get tickets for these guys? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's not that. It's, think about it. It depends on, the way ticket things work these days is, it depends on who they're playing. And if it's this night or the game time starts at this, the same seat can have a $40 swing.
Oh, I know. We were, I forget what the giveaway was, but we got there fairly early, and we wouldn't even think twice about it. I think it was some bobblehead night. I'm sure it was like Ozzy. I'm a bobblehead nut, by the way. I don't know if you're aware of that. But
yeah, I got all these things staring at me.
It was some sort of bobblehead. It was probably like Ozzy Smith or something. But the lines to get these crazy goofy bobbleheads it was just insane. But of course they charge more for that ticket to go to that game. So but yeah, I got problems.
No, that's all right.
I got Tom Brady bobblehead.
Oh geez.
Ozzy Smith bobblehead.
All right.
Red Sox zombie
bobblehead. Oh, look at that. Everybody that was watching just left. He started talking about bobbleheads.
Talking about the Red Sox.
So yeah, but so going back to kind of like what we were talking about a little bit earlier is that when you are having these meetings like we do every Thursday, and what are you looking like to maybe those people
Oh yeah,
that are out there that might be looking for something like this. So one thing I wanted to talk to you and talk kind of generally about tonight was membership a little bit. Is it seems harder and harder with the younger generation to pull members in, and we've talked about this and we talked about that at the membership and foundation seminar a little bit. Was there's e-clubs now that meet strictly online.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's more groups like us that are offering kind of a sunset, what we call a sunset club, that meets in the evenings after work hours, because some of us work 30 minutes away and can't break away to come to a noon meeting, or can't be late to work after a morning meeting. So it does have, provides that flexible scheduling to have a night meeting. And it still seems like there's just this struggle to try to get membership numbers up. And it's not for a lack of trying, believe us, we try. But I'm just kind of wondering, what your thoughts are, and have a little discussion about, I mean, because again, to me, when I first found out about Rotary, it was, again, the old white guys club.
Yeah.
And there was this stigma about it, or, hey, I'm in Rotary, so what do you guys do with cars? Okay, no, you don't know what Rotary is. And I just don't understand why, when you look at something like Rotary International and their work with polio, and with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and how big some of that is, and how much it gets talked about, how people really aren't still understanding what exactly Rotary is.
Ooh. Well, I think we talk about younger generation. These younger kids. The younger generation is more, I don't want to say advanced, but they are more involved with social media, gaming, video, using the phones, and everything. We live in a Walmart society right now. And what I mean by that is Walmart and Amazon. I want something right now.
Right
now. And if you can't deliver this to me in the next 5 minutes, you're done. I don't want to deal with you. So that's why I kind of talk about, I hate the term elevator speech.
Right.
But I always try to post stuff that we do on my Facebook page, or on the club's Facebook page, because I know that friends of friends of friends of friends are going to see that stuff. And if it's something that they're interested, like we redid the Violence Prevention Center kitchen. And so if somebody's like, wow, that's kind of a cool deal, I'd like to help that. That's our, like you were saying, our first face to try to get that new member in. They're going to see that stuff. And it's all, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff that we're all, as we get older, the older generation,
right,
we're a little nervous about.
Yes.
But so I think a lot of it is educating our groups and educating our clubs in the district, and kind of getting them more involved with their social media apps. Because I think that's what the youngins are looking at.
So the other part, and what a big part of Rotary is, and what they tout a little bit, is the networking aspect that comes with going to a club meeting. So if you're a business owner, or if you're involved in this, and then you go there and, hey, there's a guy who does insurance, or there's a guy who does this, or I'm looking for a guy who's going to come re-roof my house. Oh, there's a guy who owns a roofing company, and you're making all these friendships and connections that are going to not only help you, but they could also maybe help your business, and you might be able to partner with somebody. But to me, it's getting a little bit harder to then, in a club setting, find somebody, because I don't own my own business.
Yeah.
And my services, being a cartographer, Google it, are are, are maybe limited to some people, or there might not be that understanding. So are we losing kind of that networking aspect in Rotary to the younger generation?
I think so, because
I don't know if they value that as much.
Yeah, I don't think the younger generation cares about LinkedIn or what you do for a job or what this person does for a job. The networking aspect, I think, comes in time as you get a little older and kind of understand, hey, I actually do need to use other people and kind of get that stuff. It's tough for me, I'm a middle-aged white guy, so for me to try to understand Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff, and then try to sell it to someone who's younger and could run circles around me on a computer, on the internet. It's tough. It's absolutely tough. But I think doing this kind of stuff is absolutely beneficial to kind of get the word out, to get the name out. Hey, we're not all old farts.
Right.
Although my wife might tell you differently. But, it's one of those deals where I think that as long as we keep plugging and we keep staying new and keep staying fresh, kind of what I talked about earlier, if your website's old, I want nothing to do with you.
Right.
I want up-to-date stuff. I want to know what you did last weekend. I want to know that service project, because if I'm going to join your club, I want to see that, yeah, you did the Violence Prevention Center last weekend, and that's pretty cool, and that's the kind of stuff I want to do.
Right. And so when you talk about that, and you're talking about having everything up to date, and you're talking about posting all your that, and we've talked about it, posting all your events and doing that and having that social media presence, and you talked about the younger generation constantly living, I want it now. I can get it in 2 days, everything. Do you think that how you space out service projects, or how you space out fundraisers, or how often you actually get them done or have that going on, is that going to be a big factor? Because if your club is doing an event and it's 3 months away and you're talking about it, is that going to be good enough for a potential younger member to come in? Or do they want to go to your website and see, oh, we're doing this, and then in 2 weeks we got this, and then another 2 weeks we got this? And it's kind of like, if I'm going to help out, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to be on the ground running. But how do you balance that maybe aspect with the people that are in your club that show up to, because again, we've talked about this, is that you have that core group of members that are going to be at every event you do, and they're always there and they're supporting the club and they're 100% involved. How do you not burn them out at the same time?
Ooh, well, okay. So at the beginning of every meeting, I kind of do a couple of crazy things. I try to tell everybody, hey, check in, and the reason why I do that is just so that people know, I'm just throwing out examples. Somebody knows that Miss Tracy is going to be at the KC Hall at 6:10.
Right.
And now all of her friends know. So it's not, I don't think you're going to get burnt out doing that kind of stuff. I don't think I looked at the list of the stuff that we have coming up, and holy guacamole, I'm going to lose my hair. Trying to, okay. Maybe.
I don't think he knows yet.
Just looking at the list of stuff that we have, but having if we're at an event, posting it, if we're talking about an event, if you want to watch our meetings, go watch one of our meetings. That I think that's the great selling point, is we actually put our meetings online. People can watch them and then even decide if that's something, kind of a group that I want to be involved in or not. So as far as people getting burnt out on that, you're going to have your 1 or 2 members that try to do everything, for lack of a better term. Your president this year tries to do everything. But I try to delegate as well so that I don't get burned out. And I think that a lot of that has to do with just, keeping things fresh, keeping things different, changing up meetings, changing up service projects. We were the group that built the wheelchair ramps every year. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we do have those signature projects, and we collect shoes every year, but we also mix it up. And I think that's how you keep people from getting burnt out, is just keep staying fresh and keep doing new things. And we've got some different things coming up this year. So hopefully people don't get burnt out.
Yeah, and so that brings me to my next point is, do you see in Rotary, and I don't know if I see this or not, I had talked about how when I went to South Carolina and there was a club down there that has their, probably now their 24th annual. They've been doing it and there's another club I visited in Florida that's, I think, on their 30 something annual. They do a picnic down in Florida, and in South Carolina, they do the duck races.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you see a younger club like ours who just chartered 5 years ago, having in 15 years, like, hey, we're doing the 17th annual this? I mean, or is it getting to the point where there's so many different ways to raise money? There's so many different ways to do service projects that, yes, you have your signature projects, but are you constantly adapting and changing it to keep your membership engaged? And I know there is some truth and some benefit to being like, all right, we've done this for 30 years. We can plan this whole thing in one meeting.
Yeah.
We know who needs to do this and do that and get it done, versus something new. And you're like, well, we've never done a trivia night. How do we put that on?
Yeah.
Or we've never done this. And there's a lot more work involved.
So that's a great question. So 15 years from now, we do I always laugh when I say it, a cornhole tournament,
right?
Which is bags, throwing the bags or whatever. We've done that for 3 years in a row. We've kind of got it down to a science now.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of know what we need to do. And 15 years from now, I'm hoping that I'm still in this club kicking, and obviously somebody else is running the event.
Right.
But I see us doing that. We're going back to trivia this year. We did a few years with Globe Bingo. We wanted to go back to trivia. I think trivia is a little easier to kind of work. Those kind of events are, for us anyway, I think are not rocket science. People around here, we know how to run them. We know how to do them. People back east, I moved here. I never even knew what a trivia event was. I came here. I moved here. I was like, oh, what?
What is this thing?
Holy moly! So, I mean, just having those kind of events, and yeah, if you're a club that does, I forget what the club is that does the lights. I don't think it's Mascout. It might be Redbud that does the lights downtown, and then people can donate to keep those lights going, and they raise a bunch of money doing that. And it's not a hard project. It's something that they've done every year, and they're able to. They know they're going to make X amount of dollars, just by turning on some lights. So, is that a fresh thing to do? Maybe not, but at the same time, that's a no-brainer,
right?
Type thing that you want to do. Now, do you want to add an event like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots tournament? Perhaps that's something that our club will be doing this year,
right?
We also do Hungry Hippos at the end of each meeting, just to liven it up, have a little fun. So, long story short, and I can go on forever, is I definitely believe you want to have your staple events. I think that cornhole tournament has now become our staple event. And when I talk to people, they're like, do you guys still do that? How does that work? How do and
we do.
It gets people going. And in the middle of February, March this year, when there might still be snow on the ground, we're throwing bags.
Sure.
And people are having a good time. So God willing, 15 years from now.
And speaking about that a little bit is this past weekend, I believe, on ESPN, I saw the 2017 Bags Championship.
Shut up.
I swear, it was on ESPN. I'm not even joking. I was going through the cable guide and I started going, and it was like, and I was like clicking, and I saw Bags, click. Wait a minute, what? Bags? And then I clicked on it, and it was the championship round. And oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
You should have seen these teams. I mean, everything is just pinpoint precise, and they are just blasting.
One of the really cool things that we had at our event was there was a kid there who, I shouldn't say kid because everybody's a kid to me.
Right.
Everybody's my pal, who was ranked 7th in the country at bags.
Right.
You know, I mean, to me, I didn't even know that existed at all. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, you know, how awesome.
Oh yeah.
To have somebody who has that kind of skill set.
Well, and then for us to have a knowledge set like that we can pick his brain about how do you run these things, and how do you run your formats and your group in your brackets, and what should we do here and do that. And he gave us a lot of good pointers. So be on the lookout for our bags tournament, cornhole tournament, because it's definitely going to be bigger and better this year.
I just got back east. That terminology.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh.
Family show.
I am absolutely a third grader. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's really nice to have that kind of. We're getting there. We're still young. We're going into our 6th year. We are young pups still. I know I hesitate to say we're the young group out of the bunch because we're really not. There are other groups younger than us. But at the same time, I want to have those events that people are like, holy moly, it's that time of year again. We're going to throw some bags.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think that's another thing that attracts different audiences as well. I know that for our bags tournament, I see a lot of people that go to the bags tournament that I would never know, that I would never see, who don't know Rotary, who don't know what we do. So at the beginning of every event that we do, I like to take 5-10 minutes and say, hey, thank you for coming.
Right.
This is what you're supporting. And I think that, you know, that's another way to stay fresh and get the word out. And let's throw some bags.
Awesome.
We don't have a date yet, but as soon as we do,
we'll
get your team together and it'll be a lot of fun.
So along, you know, continuing on the membership thing. So we talked about bags and some of the stuff we do, but what, if you could describe it, and this is, I'm trying to phrase this the right way.
I'm trying not to laugh.
I know it's hard. I know. Yeah. It's smoking up here trying to get this out the right way. But what do you feel is the number one thing to a new member? And I think that's a little bit of a difficult question to answer for somebody that's been in Rotary. So what I'm asking you to do is step outside of Rotary from when you came into the club, and what was the number one thing that sold you as far as the light bulb went on? This is what I want to be a part of. What do you think that is today?
Oh, okay. So I still think it's the same thing. You know, Tom Rippett always talks about the paycheck at the end. So one of the things that I really found out that I knew this was the group for me and I wanted to stay. We do every year another signature project. We do Thanksgiving Day baskets for 12. We did 12 families in Shiloh and O'Fallon this past year. And it is every bit of, and even the first year I joined, it is every bit of knowing that people who are getting this food that we're delivering, we do above and beyond a Thanksgiving Day meal. We do enough for a few weeks, usually. You know, it's to walk into somebody's house, and I'll just give a couple quick examples. We had a girl who broke her hip, lost her job, had 3 kids, hadn't had a paycheck in 2 months, didn't know how she was going to eat the next couple of weeks. Well, because of our group, we were able to, you know, get her some food, and she just looked right at us. She's like, I need to hug every one of you. You know, I don't cry easy.
Right. Yeah, sure. We've heard that before.
Another family, the grandmother took the drug addicted parents' kids. Her daughter and husband had 6 children, any ranging from 11 to 2 or 3 or somewhere like that. And finally, the grandmother stepped up and said, enough. I'm taking these kids, get out of their lives. This is my responsibility now because you can't do this. which is a horrible, horrible story. We walked in there and these kids' faces just blew up.
Oh, yeah.
Just, oh my goodness, just kids were running around going crazy, putting food away, helping us out. Every kid had to hug us. I had a neighbor that I never knew that needed help. That, we went over and we delivered food, and I see this person walking every so often. And, now I say hi and how you doing? What's going on? And he's like, hey, doing much better. We're doing great. It's the payday at the end. So for me as a new member, when I first did that project, I knew that no matter what, I was going to figure out how to make this club work, because this club was doing stuff that I really wanted to be involved in. And so like the Thanksgiving Day baskets is huge for me. Just knowing that me paying dues and me collecting food and me doing that is going to benefit, even if I touch just one person with that stuff. The payday for me is tenfold. And I think that's how a new member that comes in, the very first, and if that's their first project, I don't see how you quit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that is an amazing one to be involved in. And another one that we have coming up, which I think is really cool just because of the partnerships that we have, is going to be the Joseph Center and what we're going to do there. And I know you're really, really, this is you.
This is you. Huge project. We talked about this a few times.
Yes.
Marcia and her group with the O'Fallon VFW Auxiliary. Miss Savannah and her team at Rebuilding Together, Tina, who's with our group, and myself have really tried to put this project together. September 30th, if you guys are interested, we are going to help the Joseph Center. We are going down there. What's the Joseph Center?
Oh, yeah. Rewind.
It is a transitional living facility.
Correct. Go back and see the last podcast.
Who knew? You and I talked about this. I've never heard this place existed. They are located in East St. Louis. They have room for 26 beds for homeless vets, vets who have addiction issues. They find them a place to stay there. They give them counseling. They give them love, which is something that these vets all deserve. And I always joke around, they're doing God's work. These guys really are.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are really out there in the community trying to change lives. So we visited, Marcia actually tried to get a Cub Scout group or a Boy Scout group to do this as a service project. And they were kind of not interested in it. And when Marcia approached me about it, I was like, well, yeah, let's go look at it. Let's see what's doing. And I walked down there. I drove down there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This guy, not much walking. Although I'll tell you more about that later.
Oh boy.
We got down there and the inside is what it is. The outside needs a lot of love. The outside back area is a little distressed. They are in a section of East St. Louis. They need help. So we're going to go down there. We're going to trim some bushes. We're going to clean up some areas. We're going to power wash some stuff. The main project is we're going to make some picnic tables, and we are going to build them like a kind of lean-to gazebo type thing because they have family days there. And what ends up happening is, a vet's trying to get back on his feet. His family can come and visit, come and say hello, and they go to this back area that's kind of drab and a little rough. They've had their funding cut. So a lot of the money that they used to get from the state of Illinois has kind of been depleted and has gone the way like most things in the state of Illinois. So long story short, on September 30th, if anybody is out there interested in helping us get these guys the love that they deserve, cleaning up their area, they have a flagpole that I know Miss Tina, that's her big project. She wants that flagpole sharp.
Oh yeah.
So hit me up, get me on Facebook. I don't care if you're a Rotarian. I don't care what you do for a living. You want to take a day and make somebody's life better and help these people out, hit me up. I am all over Facebook and obviously the email.
Right. You can get us at 2rotarians@gmail.com.
Yeah. Any questions? It's just going to be a fun day. Everybody's going to get a t-shirt who signs up.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm a sucker for a t-shirt.
Sure.
You tell me I got to run 500 miles. If there's a t-shirt involved, I'll probably do it.
Yeah.
But that's a good date for us is September 30th. And if we need to do October 1st, we're going to do that as well.
And also, if you're not able to make that, September 15th, they're having a golf tournament.
Yes.
As well as a fundraiser, and we can provide and put up a flyer with some more information about that. It's a shotgun start. I know it starts about 1 o'clock. Registration's at noon, and I believe it's Emerald Green Golf Course, which is just over the 270 bridge on the Missouri side. If you head north on Riverview Drive, it's a couple miles north on Riverview Drive, just over the bridge as you cross into Missouri on 270, and it's actually, I believe, the Pipe Fitters golf course.
Okay.
Like the local pipe fitters organization there. I believe it's their course.
I am geographically challenged.
Okay.
So I will be following somebody
You're ready
on GPS.
And I am not, because I'm a cartographer. Google it. So they got that coming up as well. If you'd like to be involved in that and can't make our day, or if you want to do both of them, I know I'm going to try to get to the golf tournament. It's right across the bridge from work. So awesome. So that should be easy to get to for me, hopefully. And
so go sign up or go check out their website. If you need any information, just hit us up.
Yep. The other thing we got coming up, which again, we will be a part of, is district conference. So I know, and I swear I'm not paid by Jill to talk about district conference, but I know she likes it when we do. So no, we're more than happy to talk about this, because we are excited to be involved in this. We will be there. We will be doing a couple live videos from district conference, hopefully getting some good interviews in and talking to a bunch of people that are at district conference, getting their ideas about how district conference going, what they're excited about, what they're doing in their clubs, and what they got coming up. Hopefully we'll get a good mix of interviews and talk to a lot of people and really have some good videos. And a lot of good information to put out there. But the thing that's really exciting, and you do not have to be a Rotarian to go to district conference, is Mitty Chang.
Yeah.
Will be here.
Oh, yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend will be here. If you don't know who he is, Google and watch his YouTube speeches, because yes, he talks about Rotary, but he also, I believe, is good for any young professional out there that would like to come and learn and hear him speak about his ideas and how he looks at things, being the age that he is and how he's gotten stuff done in Rotary and kind of his beliefs on things. He's an amazing speaker. And so that is definitely an awesome thing that we're going to have him be a part of district conference. I don't think people are understanding how huge that is.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And I'll post a link to his one of his videos up there. But to be a young guy, and not everybody has the gift of gab,
right?
Like Ken Cooley,
like that.
But he is just an awesome speaker, and I love great speakers. I absolutely love that. It's one of those things that I just get suckered into a really good speaker.
Oh yeah,
and he is just phenomenal. So I'll add a link to his video, and
good.
Definitely, if Rotarian or not, go check this guy out. It'll be a lot of fun.
It's worth it.
Yeah. And I know she's got other stuff going on as well for district conference. And the cool thing is that in Fairview Heights.
Yes.
So while the Southern Illinois folks need to get a room and be up here for the whole conference.
Yes.
This is right in our backyard.
Yeah, for us, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's
Anybody wants to crash at Shea Cooley's? let me know.
There you go.
We'll take, if they're charging 80 or 100 or 200 for a hotel room,
he'll charge you 75.
We'll work a deal.
And there's no room tax.
But I will tell
there's
you.
no free breakfast either.
Oh no. The breakfast. Ooh. I will do some sort of waffle extraordinaire for you.
There you go.
So
the Cooley waffle.
I will hook you up.
All right. What else do we got coming up? What are we going to talk about?
So a couple things. The Halloween parade.
Ooh, the Rotary Children's Halloween Parade.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
So the Rotary clubs in O'Fallon, we get together and we sponsor the Rotary Children's Halloween Parade, and it's during the day. I'm not sure exactly what the timing is and what they're thinking this year.
I think it's the 28th.
It's 28th, but what time of the day?
Oh, so usually it ends up like at you start at noon.
Start at noon. Okay, and you can dress up. And there's different categories that they usually they all walk together. And then there's a family section if you want to walk with that. And then all the businesses in downtown O'Fallon kind of have candy. And so it lets the kids walk into all the businesses on Main Street there and meet the business owners and get some candy and then see everybody and what's going on. And then we do the parade and walk through the parade. And there's people throwing candy out sometimes at the parade and people throwing candy back at them, and it's just, but it's a really good time. Last year, our club had a lot of fun with it and dressed up all together and kind of walked all together. But it's a good thing to get kids out there, do some safe trick-or-treating for them at the local businesses, but then also sponsor local businesses and support them and kind of get their name out there, but then also get the Rotary name out there and say, hey, this is what we're doing for the community. And we absolutely love doing it.
I love this event. I like you said, a lot of folks from our group dressed up as Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I kind of went a different route.
Yes.
I was the dude. But I think that it's a fun event. We get to get that Rotary name out there. Not a lot of people know, the name Rotary. I mean, our market, we kind of talked about how do you get the name out and the marketing of our group. This is one of those events where everybody kind of knows, hey, I mentioned Rotary, and they're like, you guys do the Halloween parade?
Yep.
Are you guys the group that does the flags on the side? Well, that's not our group. That's another group that does that, but that is Rotary.
Yes, that is Rotary.
So, getting the name out there, I think this is one of those events that, and I have fun.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
We have a good time.
It's
so that's an event coming up. We are currently collecting shoes.
Oh, yep.
For Shoeman Water Projects out of St. Louis. They take if you got any used shoes, we'll take them. We bring them to the St. Louis Shoeman Water Project, and what ends up happening is they take these shoes slightly used, as long as there's no holes in the soles.
Yep.
Hey, I rhymed. That was pretty good.
Right on.
Right on. And they will take these shoes. They deliver them to third world countries. They create a job by having somebody sell the shoes in these third world countries, as well as they take the money and the profits from that job, and then they start using drilling for clean drinking water for communities that some communities have to walk 15 miles a day to get drinking water that animals and everybody else drinks out of, and it is just atrocious, absolutely atrocious. So I'm hoping that at some point, if you're not familiar with Shoeman Water Projects, go check them out. If you've got shoes in your closet that you want to get rid of, just hit us up. I will
let us know.
I will come personally grab them. One of our people from our group will come grab them, and this is the perfect excuse to go and buy new shoes.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that is, I should have, timing wise with the start of school and a lot of people doing that, I should have had that on the agenda for tonight, but we will make sure that Shoeman Water Project is on the agenda for the next podcast, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that subject and talk a little bit more about that, because in the past we have completely, in my opinion, knocked this project out of the park as far as collecting shoes. I mean, we have collected more shoes in our club than some major businesses
Yeah.
that are in the local area. One who I won't mention by name, but is a very prominent alcoholic beverage maker in the St. Louis area. Figure it out. But we collected more shoes than their entire
Year,
than 1 year. Yeah, during 1 year of the project. Now, that was a couple of years ago, but still.
Yeah, but we're still hitting good numbers.
Oh yeah, fantastic
we've had
numbers.
6,500 pairs of shoes over the years, and I tell you, I mean, my garage takes a hit. It is a little
neighbors
rough.
and
the neighbors are like
takes a hit with the smell, but it's all right.
The neighbors are like, hey, I don't know what that smell is, but usually by November, my garage is clear again and everything's hunky dory, so we're good to go. So that's a big project for us. If you got shoes, hit us up. We'll come grab them.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else? I think that's it.
For right now, I think, as far as anybody in the community, if you're interested in helping out the community, and basically, this is why we do this podcast, to kind of let people know what we're doing in the community. I want to hear stories about what's going on in your community, not yours, but generally somebody else's community. So hopefully, God willing,
we had a guest pop in, but they left right away. They saw what was going on.
It's a little scary. So, but God willing, hopefully we will get that done. And I just scared the bejesus.
I know, it was kind of weird. And it was a lot louder in the headphones too than it probably was.
Did we? I don't even know who that was.
I don't know either.
Because it shouldn't be Kathy.
I don't know.
Hopefully, God willing, we're getting the name out there. If you're in the community and you're doing something and you want to tell us about it, please do send us an email, send us your information. Let us know what's going on. Yeah. I absolutely want to hear these great stories about other people in the community. Doesn't need to be Rotary, doesn't need to be, whatever your group is. If you got a different group, let us know. Hit us up on the email, on the interwebs.
On the webs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, because somebody's obviously in the 5150 Dartmouth studios.
Yeah, we have people busting down the doors to get studio time. So thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments. And hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel. Please do that. And we will keep doing these podcasts and hopefully have a lot of good topics and cover a lot of good stories like Ken mentioned. Please submit anything to us. That's why we're here. And now, for your listening pleasure, Ken and I will sing you out as we do this. So, Ken, are you ready?
I am ready.
In 5, 4,